Thanks, everyone. Councillors and visitors, please remember to switch your electronic devices to silent. And welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. I'd also like to welcome those viewers who are at home watching the meeting via the live stream. I'll now ask you all, please, if you could be upstanding. Deputy Mayor Proud, could you read out the opening prayer?
Almighty God, we ask you to guide us in all our discussions, to show goodness, honesty, understanding and wisdom.
Advice from the city being received. Brings us to item 1, which is the official opening. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the council meeting of the 7th of March 2023 open at 6:31 p.m. Item 2, attendance and apologies, I have nil. Item 3, approved leave of absence. There are some other approved leave of absences which we'll do later in the year, so I'll read them out before they come up. But the upcoming leave that we do have on record is Councillor David Lagan, granted the leave of absence for the period of 22nd of March 2023 to the 29th of March 2023 inclusive. 4, disclosure of interest. Any disclosures from the previous meetings of Audit Committee and Community and Resources can either be found in the agenda of tonight's meeting or are displayed on the screen behind me. Councillors, are there any disclosures? Councillor Thornton?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to disclose an impartial interest on item 12.2 ES1 as I've met with residents.
Thank you.
And also item in the confidential agenda 12.2 IA2, is it I?
My business, thank you.
Thank you. Was there Councillor Lagan?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Also to make a declaration on 12.1 IA2 as I've met with the board.
Thank you. Councillors, just make sure they're written down and governors have those in writing. Councillor Sandri?
Echoing Councillor Lagan's impartial as well.
Just say what it is, please, Councillor.
IA2, 12.1 IA2, also met with the board and been out on site in relation to that matter.
Thank you.
Lineem Springham from Jundana. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, councillors, staff and gallery. Mr Mayor, as you are aware, Mount Lawley Golf Club is on a protected A-class reserve and is protected under both state and federal legislation and regulations. Can you please advise who within the City of Stirling gave Mount Lawley Golf Club initial and subsequent approvals to cut down the 69 trees which have already been cut down? What was their job title? To whom were these approvals given? And what were the exact dates of the approvals?
Thank you. Mr Murphy?
Through Mr Mayor, thanks for the question. My understanding, I can't give a detailed answer about...
And gave their approval or authorisation for the healthy mature trees to be cut down? If so, what are their names and the job title? And were these internal approvals and or authorisations fully recorded, dated and documented in writing?
The short answer.
Thank you. Can you also please confirm what specific authority gives the city and its staff the power to
improve the natural environment habitat across the reserve, while ensuring that the club also offers an excellent golf course to its 1,200 members?
Thank you.
Thank you. David Lombardo? And the microphone's already on, so start with your name and suburb.
David Lombardo, Stirling. Thank you, Mr Mayor, councillors and officers. In relation to item 12.2 ES1, my question for council in regards to the minutes, is it possible for council to ensure that the minutes reflect the results of the survey that was conducted, particularly the results of the late submitters?
Thank you. I might go to Mr Guillemot first. This one.
Yeah, through the Mayor, thank you for your question. The revised consultation results, including the late responses, indicated an increase in support of option 1, which is the upgrade for the right-of-way from 30 to 49%. Support for option 2, which was closure, remained unchanged at 20%, and option 3 to leave the right-of-way as is decrease from 15 to 11%. So these results will be provided in the minutes of the council meeting and will basically form part of any future considerations on this matter.
Does that help?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Angie Cassian. Thank you. Just your name and suburb to start.
Angie Cassian, Mount Lawley. Good evening, Mayor, councillors, staff and members of the public gallery. My question pertains to Mount Lawley. According to the Planning and Development Committee meeting minutes of the 10th of August 2021, the City recommended a lease extension to the Mount Lawley Golf Club, which was approved and granted at Council on the 17th of August 2021. The current lease states, Clause 11, the lessee must not damage or remove any trees or vegetation surrounding the premises. Under the terms of the Mount Lawley current lease, what are all the conditions currently pertaining to the tree maintenance plan for pruning and maintaining trees, and how does the City view and monitor this process, given that a cracked limb, tree ID 592, was identified in the Arbor Carbon 2020 report 2.5 years ago and rated as extremely high risk to health and safety? Why was this damaged limb branch not immediately removed by the club to protect the safety of its members, and why did the City Tree Panel assessment in 2022 fail to recommend this to the club and oversee the removal of this dangerous tree's limb immediately? This appears to be a classic example.
Thank you, but it is a question out by saying obviously there's a lot of information and probably a few questions in there. We're happy to respond to you accurately on that in writing.
Okay, thank you. Prior to the uptake of the proposed variation of the Mount Lawley lease commencing on the 1st of July 2029, a revised tree and vegetation management plan is required. In August 2021, it stated that the draft 15-year tree maintenance plan and the 15-year revegetation plan had been approved in principle by this maintenance plan in the lease extension. And does any part of this plan require clearing permits before any trees can be or are being implemented now?
Thank you, and we'll respond to you in writing with detail on that one.
Thank you. And my final question, what is the rush and urgency to push through the Mount Lawley vegetation plan and the City's Tree Assessment Panel's recommendations now, which are due prior to July 2029, as areas are contradictory with the Arbor Carbon 2020 report, lack veracity, and therefore cannot be relied upon? And has this plan followed due process, gone out for public consultation to the relevant government authorities, been verified, and had the approval of the Minister for Lands in accordance with Section 18 of the Lands Administration Act 1997, as this lease pertains to Crown land?
Thank you for that question, and there is a bit of detail in that one too. We'll respond to you in writing, part of it, and say that there is no rush.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Jenny Thew.
Jenny Thew, Chewett Hill.
Thank you.
Evening, Mayor, councillors and present audience. My first question is, in the City's community and stakeholder engagement policy, it states, we believe that those affected by a decision have the right to be involved in the decision-making process. What community consultation will be done before the City of Stirling authorise further cutting down of healthy trees at Mount Lawley Golf Club, which is on an A-class reserve?
Thank you for that question. And look, the City hasn't determined any cutting down of any trees. I think the item was regarding who has the delegated authority for that. But that would come out through the, obviously, advertising of the meeting, and we'd expect the club would consult with its members.
Okay. Question 2. On page 114 of tonight's agenda, item number 12.1/1A2 references a lease term review of the Mount Lawley Golf Club. Which committee has made recommendations, and is it the review on the existing lease or the future?
Through you, Mayor, again, I think I will need to take that question on notice and look at the exact detail on page 114 to be able to give you a proper answer in writing.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Let me just get you some. So,
So how will council ensure that these concerning assessments are not occurring over the rest of the report?
yeah, and again, there's nothing has been determined by council to remove any trees, but certainly the manager of parks would be aware of those.
Okay, thank you.
Peter Ellis?
Peter Ellis in Corrine. I remember tonight, Mr Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, councillors, fellow ratepayers and hard-working staff. Can you please advise the exact date that the CEO of the City of Stirling is departing Australia for a conference in Kansas City, Missouri, and the exact date he returns to his duty at the City of Stirling?
Yes, happy to provide you that in writing, Mr. Ellis.
Fantastic, thank you. Why are the reports from the CEO for his conference visits not available to the ratepayers and the stakeholders to be able to reflect on his knowledge and vision?
Mr. Blanchard?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The reports from the CEO are provided to the Mayor in accordance with the CEO.
With council employees attending conferences as being granted extra days, non-working and paid at rate tower's expense, as advised by Mr Blanchard at the last meeting.
Happy to provide you that in writing, Mr. Ellis.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell? And your name and suburb, Mr. Mitchell?
Good evening, Mayor, councillors, council staff and fellow members of the public. I have 3 questions tonight. My first one is in relation to the proposal, when, I don't know, but the Performing Arts and Cultural Centre. And I ask, in the preliminary investigations and everything, have any sites been identified as possible sites, and where are they located in the City of Stirling?
The short answer is no.
Beg your pardon?
The short answer is no. No specific sites have been identified for a performing arts
There's nothing been identified?
centre. Not for a performing arts centre, not at this stage.
There's nothing at all?
Not at this stage.
Thank you. My next question relates to the East Apartment block in Karrinyup. And it's I'm noting the built form of the East Apartment block on Francis Avenue elevation is close behind the temporary construction fence at the curb of the road in Francis Avenue. Are the public verge and footpath to be replaced as prior to the removal of the same to allow that construction movement and logistics works for the apartment construction that is current? And also, are the fee permits thus charged for the use of this verge and footpath easement?
For the use of the verge, I'll have to look at the management plan, the construction management plan, to determine at what point in time would that temporary fencing be removed. One